Focus is obviously very important, and we really just want to make it simple for you guys. Instead of running through all the different options that your camera has, we just want to tell you what we think you really need to know. So there's two things we're going to talk about. The first thing is autofocus area mode, and what you're going to be looking for is called single point autofocus area mode. So what this does is it's just going to use that little dot that you see when you hold your shutter halfway down. It's going to use that to determine what will be in focus in your photograph. So instead of your camera just looking at the image and deciding for itself what to do, when you have single point autofocus area mode on, it uses that dot to decide what will be in focus. So you are controlling what will be in focus in your photograph. The next thing I'm going to talk about with you is focus modes. So there's two types that we think you should know. The first type is called single or one shot. So if you're using with a Nikon, they call it single. If you're using a Canon, they call it one shot. So what this does is when you focus on something, so you hold that shutter halfway down, it will stay focused on that object where that object is. So it's not going to track it. Now the other type is called continuous for Nikon or AI servo for Canon. And what that does is you choose that point that you want to be in focus, and then when you keep that shutter halfway down, if your subject is moving, your camera is actually, the focus is going to track that subject as they're moving. So it will follow it and keep it in focus for you. If you're going to be shooting in autofocus, there's two buttons you should know about. One is going to be on your lens usually, and one will be on the camera here. So you can see on this lens here, there's a button that says M/A or M. So if I'm going to be shooting in autofocus, I want to make sure that it's on the M/A, so my lens knows that I'm using autofocus. Also on my camera here, you can see an AF or an M, so I want to make sure that it's on autofocus. So the AF is for autofocus, so I just slide that on over and you're good to go. Alright, so now that you're using single point autofocus, there's two ways to go about using it. The first way is to keep that dot right in the center, and then you can hold the shutter button halfway down and it will focus on your subject. Now as long as you have your focus mode on single or one shot, you can press it halfway down and lock in on your subject, and you can recompose your image. So as long as you hold that shutter button halfway down, your subject will stay in focus. And remember, if you have it on continuous or AI servo, it will start tracking and try to refocus on your subject. So the second option is to actually move that point around. So you can move that focus point around in your viewfinder. So to do that with a Canon, you simply hit this button back here, and then use the dial to move it around. If you're shooting with a Nikon, what you do is you can just find this dial in the back, and as you move that around, you'll see it moving around inside the viewfinder.